Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Want to thank everybody for being on the call this morning. It's just a new day and super excited for what we get to create today. As we were doing our rounds of gratitude before we started the call, there were a couple things that kept coming up, detachment and also happiness. And I felt like there was definitely a connection there. Detaching from something kind of frees us to be able to choose into something different or to flow into something different. And you know, when we choose what we want, when we let go of old stuff and step into something new, that there is like a feeling of like playful excitement that's created. Oh, sounds like we've got somebody that's not muted. Check your mute button, make sure you're muted. And I just kind of balled that into free to be. So we're going to focus for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for free to be, and we'll just see what comes up. So I'm going to set my timer, and 90-second private meditation, free to be. Just write down whatever comes to you. Begin. All right. An interesting memory came back to me as I was just sitting here silently letting things come to me. The first thing that came to me was that you have to detach from what you already have if you're going to receive something new. And sorry, I've got an echo. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. The memory that came to me was I was at an event, I guess you want to call it like a retreat or something like that, and we were doing some exercises in trust, and it was up in the mountains, and there was a rope that led along this very rocky path that went up and down. It was not an easy path to walk on, but there was a rope that you could hold on to, and we were blindfolded. And I was helping to facilitate the event, and so I actually went through the course first, and they had given us only one instruction, and that was that if we needed help, if we got to a point where we were in trouble, or just needed some help, that we were to kneel down and raise our hand, and then the other people that were facilitating the event would know that we were in trouble and that we needed some help, and just to kind of keep us safe or whatever. And so as I was going along the path, I came to the end of the rope. It was tied around a tree, and I felt up and down the tree, and I couldn't feel how this rope went on. There wasn't any rope. And so I immediately knelt down and raised my hand. Somebody came and touched my hand, didn't take my hand, just touched my hand, and I grabbed onto it, and then they led me to the next tree. They actually walked with me about 5 or 6 paces to the next tree. And that was part of the exercise. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was part of the exercise, was that when you come to the end of your rope, to reach up, to kneel down and reach up. And a hand will be there. Gosh, I didn't expect this emotion to come. A hand will be there, but we have to grab on to the hand. And when I got to the end of the course, they took my blindfold off, and it was quite a long little hike. And I looked back down, and it was a very treacherous hike. I don't know that it was terrain that I would have chosen to hike on if I had had my eyes open. So that was a really cool experience. But then they made me part of the team. Then I was able to help other people when they knelt down and raised their hand. Then I was able to go and help them as well. And there was this one woman that I kind of stayed with, and she had gotten the same instructions as everyone else, but when she got in trouble, she would kneel down, but she would not raise her hand. She never raised her hand the whole time. And the really interesting part, even beyond that, was that when she would kneel down, I knew that she needed help, but my instructions were not to help them if they didn't do both both of the instructions. And so I waited and waited, probably for at least 5 minutes, and then I just reached down and just touched her finger so that she would know that there was someone there, but she didn't grab on like I did. Like I grabbed on to the first, hand that was there. She wouldn't grab on. She just would sit there. And she was the last one through the course, even though she was halfway through the group. She stayed in the same place for quite some time before she finally grabbed on. And this experience came to me, and it I realized that it's kind of like a helium balloon. If you let go of a helium balloon, it will just go up until it finally loses, its helium and then just falls to the earth. But we have the ability to, when we let go of something, to grab onto something else that is going to help us help us continue on our path. When we let go, it doesn't mean that we're just destined to float around in, space forever. When we let go, it's because we have our eyes on another target, and or if we don't have our eyes on the target, if we're blindfolded, we don't know what it is, then there's a trust that God's going to have His hand there ready for us to help us to the next place. Who else would like to share?
I'd like to share. So, I just thought about how being free to be, I feel like there's, when I allow myself to do that, there's just a natural, inherent knowing that all things will come together for my good, and trusting that as I do my part, that I can then 100% detach from the rest and allow God to do His part, and that everything, no matter what happens, will be for my good. Yesterday we had an experience. We woke up, we're up in Alaska, and we've had really cold the last week, down -20, -30. And yesterday we woke up to frozen pipes, and I used to, my old person would have freaked out and been really stressed and anxiety-ridden over that. But I remained calm through the whole thing, and it was amazing to see friends and everyone coming together and using their knowledge to help us get our house back to where it needed to be. And there was we didn't have any pipes break. There was nothing. Everything came together for our good. So that was the primary thought that came to my mind. Just everything comes together for our good when we are free to be.
Everything. I love that idea of everything coming together, and also from what you shared about friends coming together, everyone comes together for my good. I think a lot of times, when we're in a quote stressful situation, that we have to reach up and ask for help, and there's always help available when we reach up and ask. There's always help available. Wow, I can't believe I'm so emotional today. So this must have been the perfect subject for me. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
I'd like to share. I was thinking that it takes a lot of courage to let go of anything that you're attached to. I mean, like sometimes we get confused, and we just grab and cling to certain things, even if they're like detrimental to us and to our well-being. And it just takes a lot of courage and trust, like in your capacity to be able to let go and to reach out for a better way of living. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that, Daniel. And, we do have tendency to, all of us have sort of behaviors that we go to when we feel like our safety is at stake. And for us to be able to interrupt that pattern, completely detach from anything that, we feel in the past might have given us safety, and completely let go, to allow, just like Tammy's experience, to allow things to come together for our good, even if we feel like we're just floating around and need, a lifeline to grab onto. If our past behavior has taken us to something detrimental to us, that takes a lot of courage to not go to that thing, to allow life to take us to, everything to work together for our good. Thank you. Who else? Let's get maybe one more share, and then we'll shift over to our permission process.
This is Gary. I think one of the things that I was thinking about is how dangerous sometimes when we're focused on our goals that we isolate ourselves. We want to use our focus power to focus on our goals, but we're so focused on our goals we forget to reach out to other people, to talk to other people, and to going back to what I said before, to serve. And not to forget to reach out to other people who might need your help, and then in turn they help you too as well. So I think that's isolation. Make sure, when you're doing your goals, not to isolate yourself too much, but to reach out. I think that's important.
Awesome. That's so true, and that actually really helps me today. That was one of my breakthroughs this morning about being so focused on what I'm creating that I kind of forget, that there's other people around that can help me, and that also I can help, because we are a bridge for each other in accomplishing what we want. We can't do it alone. We wouldn't want to do it alone. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? Let's go ahead and take it.
Hi, this is Sylvia. I was just like to join in with what Gary had said, because I find that the more I try to help other people, the more I help myself. I feel that when I help somebody, I feel that I'm doubly blessed, sometimes triply blessed. And I find it's a source of encouragement and comfort to me. And in respect to letting go and trusting, I find that the more I do so, the more I'm strengthened, the more joyful I become, the more peaceful I become, and more I find that my faith grows, so that when another seemingly dangerous situation presents itself, I am calm.
Beautiful. I love that. Letting go and also reaching out and serving other people, bringing that extra blessing, strength, joy, peace, faith, calm. Those are all so true when we do that. Well, thank you, everybody that has shared. Let's go ahead and shift over to our permission process. And any other thoughts that you have, I encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share there. We'd love to continue this discussion there. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And I invite us to get really clear right now with something that we have been holding on to for dear life, feeling like our safety is dependent on us holding on to something that we've been afraid to let go of. We know that there's something that is better for us, that will create a better life for ourselves, but for whatever reason have been holding on tightly to something. Just get really clear with what that is that you've been holding on to. And the great thing about having things that we hold on to is knowing that at some point that was really necessary for us to have. It was the highest level that we could believe, and it was perfect. It kept us safe. It was a lifeline for us. And just expressing gratitude for having that available to us in the perfect moment when we needed it. And then right now taking a good, clear look at it right now in our lives right now. Is this still serving us? Is it still serving you to hold on to this? And if the answer is no, I invite you to, even if it means blindly letting go, I invite you to envision yourself letting go of that thing, whatever it is, and turning away from it. Just envision yourself maybe floating in space, but just turning yourself away from that, whatever it is that you were holding on to for dear life. And now that you've let go of it, you can actually turn and look at what is something new that you can maybe not grab onto for dear life, but that you can step up to and allow yourself to be in another place, creating some new solid ground, holding on to a new truth with faith that it will be not a replacement for, but a new level of understanding. So just take a moment and get clear with what that new step is that you're taking. Be open to receive any new inspiration about this new place that you're stepping into. And what is the one most important thing that you could do today to create some stability in this new area, to actually feel some solid ground, to create some evidence that this is a solid place that's going to support you until it's time to let go of this place? You will be able to create some solid ground for a moment to feel stable, to give you the peace and fulfillment that you've been seeking. What is your inspired shortcut to creating stability in this new area of life? And as you're stepping into this new place and becoming more familiar with what the first step is, the inspired shortcut that you can take to really create some stability here, what is your limiting belief that's coming up? What's the limiting belief about possibly letting go of the old and never going back, or holding on to this new that is unfamiliar? What's your limiting belief that's coming up for you? And with this limiting belief comes a cost. If you keep this limiting belief, what is the outcome? What does this limiting belief lead to if you hold on to it? And if you don't like that cost, if you're not liking the place where this limiting belief is taking you, then you have a choice. You can hold on to that limiting belief, or you can let it go and be free of it. And if you want to give yourself permission to let it go and be free of it, say yes.
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 Awesome. So go ahead and choose some new beliefs. What are some new beliefs? If you are willing to let go of that limiting belief, you need to replace it with some new beliefs. So what new beliefs will serve you in letting go of that old way of being, stepping into the new way of being, and also letting go of that limiting belief, being free of that limiting belief? What are some new beliefs? All right, and with these new beliefs, I invite you to just take these new beliefs in. As you breathe in, just breathe these new words into yourself and allow yourself to feel more solid with these new beliefs in this new place that you stepped up to, and where maybe it was just a little tiny platform that you had stepped onto, or just a tiny string, a rope, maybe something just really tentative that you were holding on to before, that these new beliefs are actually creating building blocks that are solid bricks, a solid rock bridge, or whatever it is that you envision this as creating, something around you that feels very confident, very strong, very certain, very solid, a firm foundation for you to stand on. And that as you feel this firm foundation with these new beliefs being built for you, I invite you to take one last look at that past life that you had, the past thing that you were holding on to, and just see the difference at how really unstable that last platform that you stepped from, that had felt so solid before, that had felt safe, that you can see the difference between the really instability of the old life and stepping into this new firm foundation that you're creating around yourself with these new beliefs. And with these new beliefs, go back to that one most important thing, the inspired shortcut that you have today, and just make sure that this firm foundation is going to allow you and empower you to be able to take action on that next step today, on that inspired shortcut today. And this inspired shortcut is going to take you faster and farther than you ever could have imagined or planned for yourself. Even if it doesn't make sense, just trust and know that this inspired shortcut is the perfect thing for you to do today. And even if this is the only thing that you accomplish today, this is the most important thing. And so the rest of your day, it can flow however. In a moment, I'm going to open it up for shares. I just want to suggest to anyone who is feeling maybe some instability on this new place that you're stepping into, or maybe there's still some draw from the old place that you stepped from, I'd like to invite you to have a conversation with me, a 15-minute call. It's free, and all you have to do is just go to AskWilene.com, and that will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call, AskWilene.com, and that's a free call. I'm going to share my new beliefs, and then I'll open it up if anybody else would like to share. I have 3. I'm probably going to add some more after the call. I am certain of my new skills and my ability to learn. My new path is certain. I am certain of my success. Who else would like to share? Is that Paula?
I am positive that
Sylvia.
I will overcome my personal challenge, and this will be a personal triumph for me, a testimony of God's goodness and power.
Beautiful. I love those words. Super powerful words. Positive. Personal power. Is that what you said?
Personal triumph.
Triumph. Yes. I'm glad you repeated that. That was really powerful. And also acknowledging God's power. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we end our call today?
Yes, I'd just like to say something.
Okay.
I feel, like that I actually in the process of letting go, and that I am courageous. My future is bright. God is my friend, and other people are also my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. When I write my new beliefs, I always write them in a way that I can believe them. And sometimes saying I am certain is not quite believable. So it is perfectly fine and perfect, actually, to state your new beliefs in the way that you can believe them, and being courageous in being in the process. That is totally perfect. It's definitely an upgrade, and then eventually you'll be able to feel that solid ground beneath you. The evidence that you're creating from these new beliefs will create more solid evidence that create a stronger, more sure foundation, and then those beliefs can be upgraded. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that, Danielle. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the call because we are at the end of our time. I do want to encourage all of you to go to that Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Write your new beliefs there. A lot of times I will take new beliefs from other people's and add them to mine because they're so powerful. I'm just super grateful for the opportunity that we have to create together. Well, thank you, everybody, for being on the call today. We'll look forward to being together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Excited for what we get to create this week. We're starting out the week with Free to Be, and I know every day adds on the next, so excited for what we get to create this week. Thank you for being on the call today, and we'll look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time.
Thanks, Wilene.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileneBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.